Hi everyone, this is Nadia. I am an occult specialist that uses spiritual intelligence to empower entrepreneurs into a healthy, empowered money story to live a balanced life. Today's round, I want to cover something that's quite divergent. I have covered this topic before on this channel, and this is a request topic from a lady named Remsha on Instagram. I'm reading from my phone at present. And she says, "Hi Nadia, can you please make a video about narcissism, narcissistic men, warning signs, and do they go for emotionally healthy or depressed individuals?" Okay, wow, what a loaded gun of a question. I've left my window open that's just right in front of me because it's really warm here in London, and yeah, we're trying our best to enjoy the sun amidst of the fact that people can't really go out and socialize, but there's not much you can do about it. Okay, so this topic of narcissism is extremely common. I have a ton of life experience when it comes to this, being a survivor of narcissistic abuse myself. And it's a really interesting subject that so many people seem to cover online, or they seem to write it from, I guess, a psychological standpoint or a psychotherapist standpoint. And the way I cover narcissistic abuse, or what narcissistic people, if we can even call them that, are, is using the magical sciences of the occult. Now, Ramsha, you did not specify what it is specifically that you wanted me to cover on narcissism, so I am just gonna give you whatever that comes to mind, basically. So, about narcissism, wow, it's such a loaded gun topic. The first thing that people need to understand is that a narcissist does not feel remorse or empathy, which means they don't feel bad for what they do ever about anything. Nothing, zero. They have no conscience, and where if somebody cut me and they would be bleeding, sure, if you cut them by virtue of just having a human body, they'd bleed red. They've switched off. You know, they went through so much childhood trauma and abuse that they've switched off everything, which means that where there's blood, there's literally ice cold water vein in their veins, basically, which means no empathy, no sympathy, and they have a fantastic time ruining other people's lives for their own enjoyment. Okay, narcissistic men, obviously because you're a woman, and I obviously assume that, you know, maybe you've encountered narcissistic men, and they're literally everywhere. They're like a plague that you can't seem to get away from. First things first, I want to make this really clear that narcissistic men hate women. They hate the feminine, they hate their mother. Let's start with that. And because they hate their mother so much, for whatever reason, you know, I won't go into the family dynamics and the childhood dynamics of it. They take that hatred out onto women, and they love watching a woman suffer. They are sadistic, they're extremely and utterly sick. In every possible way that you can imagine. They will play mind games with you, they will sexually torture you, they will mentally torture you, they will physically torture you, they will emotionally torture you, to the point that a beautiful, healthy woman can go from something that's so beautiful and mesmerizing to something that's a complete wreck. Now, I have narcissists on both sides of my family, and I have seen this in action, and I have seen the devastating damage that narcissistic abuse does to a man or a woman. I mean, but in your essence, obviously being a woman, you've asked me this question. I've seen the devastating damage that a narcissistic man can do with a woman because I've been through it myself. And Remsha, it takes great courage, great persistence to heal from the mutation, because for me, from a psychic perspective, they damage your ability to receive, they damage your ability to see anything good in the world. They damage so much inside me that it's taken me, myself as well, and anybody who's a survivor of narcissistic abuse, taken so much courage to be able to just show up in the world again and not be left for dead. And one of the things that narcissists hate most about is that you are able to have a healthy, thriving, normal life without their abuse, and you find the strength to cut them out and let them go and leave them gone. So you've asked that, I'm just reading from the phone, by the way, do they go for emotionally healthy or depressed individuals? Good question. Narcissists will go for, and again, I'm gonna go back. They're narcissistic women, and I will probably make a separate video on that. But for now, I'll just cover the men because they're really easy to spot. They go for prey. They go for women who are prey. They go for women who easily believe. They go for women who are naive. They go for women who lack boundaries. They go for women who lack self-worth. They go for women who don't know what a predator is. They go for so many things. So they wouldn't particularly go for depressed individuals. That's not what I would say. Men who have narcissistic tendencies or sociopathic or psychopathic, the cluster B family is what I call it, the sick family. They go for women who are actually quite accomplished. You'd be quite surprised. They go for beautiful women. They go for smart, intelligent women. They go for women who they see, despite having all that, they may not be healthy in their self-worth. They're naive. Like, I remember I was very naive when I was younger. I was very sweet. I was a lovely person. I'm not saying I'm not now, but I didn't know that predators existed in men, and I didn't know how sick a man truly can be. And I've truly seen sickness in a man that I won't cover on this video, maybe at a later time. But where I'm at the moment, obviously I've done extensive work on myself to see and spot predatory traits in a man, unhealthy, abusive, controlling, sick, manipulative and violent, ways that a man can carry himself. And even in a way where he's very much hiding it, you'll still see it. So Ramsha, the answer to your question is they actually go for decently adjusted women, okay? So decently adjusted would be, maybe she has a job, maybe she runs a business, but she does decently for herself. Narcissistic men feel that they are entitled to the best and most amazing of women, and the queen type of woman, they are definitely deserving of that because they have this sense of entitlement that's just, it's beyond the human mind, basically, because I don't see them as human, that's why. So I'll give my example because I don't know how else to put it. So I saw a lot of narcissistic men when I was younger. I had a lot go on that I won't cover in this round, but what I will say is that I didn't know self-love. I didn't grow up in a family who told me that they loved me, that they cared for me. I didn't feel any love from anywhere. So you've got men that roll up in your life and they love bomb you. The love bomb is all, you are everything to this man. You are special, you are wonderful, he worships the ground you walk on, so on and so forth. And then slowly, it's the tri-cycle of abuse essentially. They inflate you. What's it called again? I'm trying to think. They idolize you, they put you on a little pedestal, and then they devalue you, they take you down from that pedestal. So you start to think, what have I done wrong, and why is this man pulled away from me, and why is he playing mind games? And the more you try and go towards him, the more he knows he's hooked you on that little fish hook, basically. And then he completely devalues you, which means he discards. After the devalue, he discards you because you're not human to him anymore. To a narcissist, a woman or any other person is like, imagine this phone, Ramsha, okay? It's just an object, it's a tool. It's like I want you to think of a toaster in the morning, okay? So you pop your bread in and then you're done with it and then you just leave the toaster there. That's how narcissists behave basically with women. Narcissistic men hate women to a degree so much they want to be us. They hate the feminine so much, and because they are weak, pathetic, spineless pieces of shit, there is nothing that a narcissist would enjoy most than to take a beautiful, healthy, happy woman and destroy her to make himself and his own brokenness feel good. So I kind of hope that answers the question for you. Do they go for depressed individuals? Not visibly, Ramsha. No, they go for women who are they're sweet, they're naive. I don't know how else to put it in words. They go for women who are prey. Years ago, when I was younger, I was prey because I didn't know about how a man would want to play mind games with me. I didn't know how he'd want to abuse me. I don't know how he'd want to control me, manipulate me. I didn't know that. I just thought, maybe that's just how men are. That's really sad, right? But I've seen so much abuse with narcissistic and sick and controlling psychopathic men that it took me everything to understand that no, they're not men, they're predators and they're sick and they're thieves and they're leeches and they're the worst type of parasite that drags and takes everything out of you and leaves it for dead. And it's hard to put in words, and when you lack a basic level of respect for yourself, respect that your parents should have taught you, respect that your family should have taught you, basically in the bucket of self-love or feeling worthy and feeling special, narcissists have like a very psychic sense of picking up what a woman feels low within herself or she's willing to accept less than queen treatment. They're gonna swarm on you like white on rice, and you will see them come in your life so fast that it's hard, and it's because I don't have enough time to cover this on this video. It's tough to put in words. Warning signs when men want to try and rush in with you. Warning signs where your intuition feels off with this man. The amount of times that I have gone to events in the last couple of years and I've seen warning signs with men, I've literally seen that, you know, he's sick in the head and he's sick in his behavior and maybe just never returned or done whatever it is. It's incredibly sad, but I would always say, Remsha, a woman's intuition is very powerful and we're given that gift of intuition to keep ourselves safe. And I say this to any woman, I say this to any man as well, who can go through the same thing with abuse from a narcissistic woman. Listen to your intuition, because whatever story that narcissists tell you never ever adds up. They gaslight you, which means that they make you question your own sanity. They stonewall you, which means that they completely just blank you out like you don't exist. They do a lot of things that, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself an expert on them, so to speak, although I could probably write a thesis on who they are and what they are. I don't give them that much airtime or that much attention, but warning signs are just so much. You know, there's that flattery, there's charm, there's something very sick about them. Listen to your intuition. There's something very sick when you get around them. It's like a black hole. That's what I will say. The energy is so sick and disgusting that I sometimes have gone to events or sometimes I've gone to other countries and I've met with someone who's made a sandwich for me in a shop and I feel like I want to throw up afterwards. But then again, I'm clairsentient psychic. I pick up people's energies extremely fast and quickly. But for someone that is not aware, I would definitely implore you to dig up and read about predators as much as possible and do everything to build up your self-love, your self-worth, your self-respect, your self-value, your self-esteem, everything of the self that you can do, so that these con artists can't get into your life and destroy it, because they are always looking for someone that is willing, basically. And by willing, it's somebody who won't know who they are and can't fight back. They won't particularly come for somebody like me because, you know, you're way ahead of the game. You can fight and you can destroy them 10 times worse than they can come for me. So I'm not prey, in other words, so they won't really come for me, basically, because, I mean, it's a long story. That's what I'm trying to say, but predators only go after, and here I'll assume that it's a man, okay? So it's male. A man who's a predator will only go after a woman who is prey. He will not come after a woman who is healthy and adjusted, because he can't feed off us, and we won't tolerate his sick bullshit in life. So I hope that's kind of given you a quick round to kind of wrap up and cover what it specifically is and how it works. And just remember that always listen to your intuition. If you feel like this guy is too good to be true, he's suave, he's slick, he's this, is that, because they always make such a good first impression, run. That's what I usually say. If you see tiny things, watch tiny things about a man. I mean tiny to the nth degree, tiny that it's like it blinks and it will be gone. Don't be the type of woman who believes in a man's potential, but that potential isn't really there, because all you come to find is a sack of lies and rotten maggots, which is what narcissists really are. So I hope that helps, Ramsha. And if you have any questions, you can hit me up in DM, or if anybody has any questions that they want to ask me over here, they're free to do so. Okay? Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with more. Take care. Bye.